Hello students, welcome to this session on Elaine Showalter's essay Towards a Feminist Poetics. Students, Elaine Showalter is a renowned scholar of feminist studies. Her path-breaking essay in the history of literary theory Towards a Feminist Poetics is there in your syllabus. But before talking about this essay, let's have an introduction with Elaine Showalter as an academician, as a scholar, as a critic. Students, Elaine Showalter is known as an eminent American literary critic, and she was born on January 21st, 1941 at Boston, US. She is one of the leading figures in US feminism in 1970s, and in academic circles she is also known as a writer on cultural and social issues, and above all, a critic who gave a new definition to feminist literary criticism with her concept of gynocritics. Students, she coined this term gynocriticism, which refers to the study of unique literary traditions of women writers, and we will talk about this concept in detail in the essay which is prescribed for your syllabus. Elaine Showalter is also a specialist in Victorian literature with her innovative work in madness and hysteria in literature, specifically in women's writing and in the portrayal of female characters. As far as Elaine Showalter's best known works are concerned, her book published in 1976, A Literature of Their Own, in this book she just tried to rewrite the literary history of the novel and developed a compelling alternative to the patriarchal tradition in fiction. And in 1979, she got her essay Towards a Feminist Poetics published. In 1985, she wrote another book, that is Female Malady, and with this book she turned to cultural history, in which she critiqued the medical establishment, particularly psychiatry, and its attempt to define and control women by medicalizing personality traits and behavior that violate heterosexual masculinist norms. And in 1990, she got published her another book, that is Sexual Anarchy, and this book continued her interest in the cultural history of women's experience and focusing on psychology of gender in 1890. And then another book came, that is Hysterical Epidemics and Modern Media. This book also continued the argument that was advanced in the earlier book Sexual Anarchy. And then in 2001 she got her book published Inventing Herself, Claiming a Feminist Intellectual Heritage. So students, she has a vast treasure of concepts and ideas to her credit as far as feminist literary criticism is concerned. And this scholar Showalter was the chair of the judges for the prestigious British Literary Award, the Man Booker International Prize, in 2007. So students, now after having an introduction with this brief introduction with this scholar Elaine Showalter, now before proceeding further with the essay, we just try to understand what feminism is and what literary theory is. Students, feminism is basically a political, cultural or economic movement which was aimed at establishing equal rights and legal protection for women. Feminism involves political and sociological theories and philosophies concerned with issues of gender difference. It's a movement that advocates gender equality for women and campaigns for women's rights and interests. And in one sentence, we can say that feminism is a movement, is an ideology which talks about the rights of women, which talks about gender equality in terms of the women empowerment. And as it is recorded when we talk about the growth or the evolution of this concept of the movement of feminism, feminist scholars have divided the history of this movement into three waves. The first wave refers mainly to women's suffrage movements of the 19th and early 20th century. Students, here suffrage movement means that this very first wave of feminism was concerned with women's right to vote. Then the second wave refers to the ideas and actions associated with the women's liberation movement beginning in 1960s, which campaigned for legal and social rights for women. Then the third wave refers to a continuation of and a reaction to the perceived failures of second wave feminism beginning in the 1990s. And nowadays there is one more concept is in discussion, that is the fourth wave of feminism. Now, after having an understanding of the feminism, now let's talk about what is feminist theory, because as we have just discussed in the very second slide that Elaine Showalter is a feminist theorist or feminist critic. So what this feminist theory is? Students, this feminist theory is actually an extension of feminism into theoretical or philosophical fields. This feminist theory encompasses work in a variety of disciplines, including anthropology, sociology, economics, women's studies, literary criticism, art history, psychoanalysis, and philosophy. It aims to understand gender inequality and focuses on gender politics, power relations, and sexuality. And the themes which are explored in feminist theory, they include discrimination, stereotyping, objectification, especially sexual objectification, oppression, and patriarchy. So students, this is a brief introduction of what feminism is and what is feminist theory and who was Elaine Showalter and what is her contribution in the field of feminist theory. In our next video, we will talk about her essay Towards a Feminist Poetics, in which she has just given a clear outline to understand the concept of feminist criticism, that what it is and how it should be explained or studied, and what should be the future suggestions for an idealistic approach to look at the philosophy or the theory of feminism. So we will have a detailed discussion in the next session about this essay. Thank you.